Welcome back to Factorio building the Hyperbase. Alright, where did I get up to? We'll come back to this in just a second. Let's have a look down here. You can see that a large portion of it has been built out. We are missing some stuff, and you can see that it's predominantly the beacons. Obviously there's some modules as well, but you can't put modules in without beacons, so well, you can. I mean, you can put the modules in here, but you can't put all of these ones, which are the bulk of the modules. You can see there's no more flashing here, so we actually managed to complete the moduling of the first two parts of our steel build. And that's a good start. Now, what else? Over here, I actually found that the stack inserters were around the wrong way on these two level 2 productivity modules, so that was slowing down our build of the prod modules. So it should have sped up a little bit, and I'd suggest that it probably has. We're probably getting a better turnover of the modules down there now, which is good. Better throughput. Now, you saw that it wasn't finished. What I found out, I ran out of modules, so I've added in an extra line here. I've also put speed modules into, sorry, not the beacons. I ran out of beacons. So I've also put speed modules in the beacon build, but you'll notice that it keeps stopping. Let's get out of map mode. It keeps stopping, and the problem is that it's waiting for red circuits. It needs 20 of the advanced circuits, the red circuits, and it has to wait for them. So and the idea of the extra one was just so that it would build up a larger stockpile of them. What I'm going to do is, in just a sec, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to place a one of them there. I am going to change that and put the red circuits in like so. So now we should be getting enough, and we are. I mean, the only other thing I could do probably would put a stack inserter there. It doesn't look like it's stopping, so we've got slightly better throughput on the building of the beacons. That is great. Now, what else? Well, if we have a look at our solar field, we are finishing off the second to last one. And the good news here is that once we start of the first stack, once we start the second stack, the bot trip will be much shorter, and so we should start laying down panels at a much greater rate, at least initially. Are any of these here yet? No. So that's a very long way for bots to travel, so that is the problem. They can't do this last bit until I mean, you can see the green area there now, but it's only because the area gets extended, obviously, when this this roboport gets placed. But until then, it only sort of comes up to sort of this area. Oh, it must be this area. So this area here is not able to be done until all of this basically is done, and then the area gets extended and new commands get given to the bots to fill out the final piece. So with a bit of luck, in this episode, this final piece will be done. We'll redirect the train. We'll have to pick up the blueprint in here and move it over to this one, which currently is empty. And that should sort out building another stack of 20. Now, what else? Well, the wood supply has dwindled. In fact, we've completely smashed it. I wonder how far up this goes now. Given that we have completely smashed it, it may in fact even be worthwhile pulling this back so it's just the top segment. That was 87,000, it's now nothing. But the other thing that we most definitely need to do is, we'll get out of map mode, is grab up the beacons. Just want to make sure that I have enough. Jump on board. Let's grab whatever we have in the way of modules up here. We'll start off with the productivities. And then grab the speed modules. We have a bit more room, so we can pick up some modules on the way. I need to be a little bit careful because it looks like I have the building armor on, so I don't want to waste these resources on other unbuilt areas. I want to prioritize the one that we want built the most. Let's just come down here. Right, we have plenty of fuel on board. I also took the opportunity while waiting for some of the beacons to build earlier to fix up the coal and copper and iron supplies to the starter base. I'll show you those when we get a chance, but just before that, let's pop over to here, where we have a bunch of additional modules. That's all that I can actually carry at the moment, so we'll have to just carry on down, but that's certainly a lot more prod modules than we've had previously, so that's good. If it's a good enough surplus, I may even use it to fill out some of the circuits modules that we haven't finished. Uh-oh, I'm losing, guys. They're chasing after this. A little annoying, but never mind. Alright. With a bit of luck, this should bring us fairly close to completing the build. As in a complete module as well, modularized completion. It looks like this area is complete. What about the top? There's a couple missing up there, so I guess we should head up to the very top. I kind of like getting complete segments finished before finishing off the other bits. Now if we come up here, grab some beacons, because I'm pretty sure we are short of beacons in here somewhere. It seemed like we had a lot of prod modules, but they are diminishing fast. There go the beacons. It does look like we are able to complete that top segment. Might wait for some of these while I grab some more beacons. Not sure if I'll actually need all of these beacons. We may have overdone that just a little. I do want to keep an eye out up here. It has laid down the final piece, and bots are on their way, but it is a pretty long trip for bots all the way from there up there. Even if they do have charging all the way along, that's still going to take a bit of time. So alright, let's head down to the final segment. we may well have to go back and get some more speed modules back to the module build, but we certainly do have the speed, well, we have more here as well actually. What are we running out of? Speed modules again. Okay. And that looks like it is actually the whole thing built out. Let's return all of those to here. Okay. So, rail time. What I want to do with the rail is a bit of a redirection. I don't want, let's just swap these guys around. I don't want this one coming up and going to the other side anymore. I just want it to go back here. But I do want it to have the ability to go down this one. So actually that may have been premature. Let's just swap them back again. So I guess what we want to do is eliminate that and that. So the actual path is going to be that. It's going to be easier just to grab this bit manually. So the train may have gotten confused at this point. Add B iron 3 until inventory full. Delete that one, and then steel smelt 2 is fine. Still unloading anyway, so that's fine. So what that actually means is we want to get rid of a bunch of track here, and this one needs to connect up here. Now this will work just because the steel, there's under half of the actual iron smelters that we have in one of these normal stacks. So one feeding 2 should be more than fine. Right, let's just get rid of all of that. Now I basically want this piece, so let's get another blueprint. Tick. I am probably going to need to, that one there has no purpose anymore. To be able to work out where this needs to go, I think what we need to do is run some rail up. And quite possibly run some rail across so that we've got some guides. anyway. Let's see if that works. That's not the piece, that is the piece. I think that's what I'm looking to do. We may well not have enough rail because we've been prioritizing other stuff after finishing off all of the track. Rid of those, thanks. I want the legs at this point. So it looks like we've come close, but not quite made it. That's alright. Where is my plane? Just over here. So another couple of hundred rail, and probably, well, we don't need all of these guys either. Another train would probably have that area done. The other thing that we are interested in, of course, is how we are progressing here. And this is what I was talking about. They managed to build, well, now that these have been laid, so that's the first distance. Then when they've laid these guys and they're powered, it then jumps up to just this tiny corner missing. So there'll be another lot that have just been given instructions to fill out all of this. That is the last corner. So we must be up to 199. We are. What else do we need then? We need a 16. A 1640. The slow march goes on. We'll probably need to get some fuel for the train as well. At least I'm pretty confident that I don't actually need to adjust the track to fit the train. It should just work, since we've already gone through that process. Yes, this is a very slow for a jet. We'll just park up here, get our stuff. Hopefully we can carry it all. There's the locomotives. Do we have the rails yet? Nope, but here it comes. There's only 8,000 stone, but they've taken over from wood as the most prevalent thing. So our little stone mine is not needing to get used particularly often. I'm very curious to see how this is going. Alright, all of this is done. We're just waiting on the two layers to get fed in. We definitely have time to run back and probably finish off that steel smelting area. Well, the first segment of it anyway, because that is our biggest issue really, is being able to build fast enough. Oh, one thing that I should do is quickly check on the power grid. So these things have about 60 kilowatts, but you effectively, given the day-night cycle, you're effectively looking at about 40 sustainable power. So when it says it's 157, although that's sort of 9.5 gigawatts maximum output, it's really only 6.28, I guess, but call it 6.3. 6.3 of sustainable power plus this 240. So if we weren't charging the accumulators right now, and we're exceeding that sort of number, you'd know that we would be likely to have a power crisis and blackouts. That's what that really means for you. And yes, this stone mine is not really getting tapped. It's not needing to. There's enough raw stone lying around for our purposes for now. Let's head a bit more steeply down. I don't have the bots installed, so that's good. But you can see there's a hell of a lot of infrastructure that still needs to be placed in the areas that we've already sort of built out. I'm glad the ghosts don't fade anymore in quite the same way that they used to in the old days. It would make it have to be rushing backwards and forwards and re-slapping the blueprints down, etc., etc., to make it all work. We need to be up here to finish off the rail. Here we go. "35 segments were all we actually required. Let's run over here. Get our... oops. Get our train down. Okay. Now that would suggest that something hasn't connected up properly, and that looks like right there. That looks better. There you go, fits perfectly. Now, we need some fuel. Let's head over here. Probably need a little bit more than that. Let's try that. Yeah, you only have one bit of fuel, you'll need a bit more. Why don't I just grab it all and then put back what we don't use? It makes more sense to me. Can't be a lot in that one either. There you go. Right, so this train should be very similar to the other one, except we need to rename Steel Smelt 3 and Steel Smelt 4. Oh, it doesn't matter. Steel Smelt 3 and Steel Smelt 4. And so add B iron 4 until inventory full. Add Steel Smelt 3 until inventory empty. Add B iron 4. Big iron 4 until inventory full, and then Steel Smelt 4 until inventory empty. Nice and simple. And go. Steel smelting fixed up. Right, let me have a look what's going on up here. Just the corner left. That is fantastic. Let's jump on board. We are going to probably grab our train this time. And sort out the solar moving over to block 2. Don't know about you, but I've been looking forward to this. We certainly need it from our power grid point of view, because I think it will speed up the rate at which the power grid enlarges, and we definitely need that because we've basically caught up to the power grid, and we want the power grid to be in front of us, really. We may want to be making the solar panels for the satellite fairly soon, just so that that whole process can sort of keep ahead of us. I don't think there's any need to go to the main base, so I guess we'll go to hashtag solar. Still hasn't pasted that lot down, but there are bots on the way. Looks like there's one or two that are missing from here that may have been contained in the prior build area anyway. It's very hard to find exactly where the bots are. Doesn't really matter if we can't. It would be nice to see it finish off that bit, but what I basically want to do is come in here. I mean, this is going to stop it anyway. This mechanism that I put in there is going to stop it, so it's not going to deploy another one, but I basically want to pick that up so that we can then race along to hashtag solar2. Circuit condition, hashtag solar2, let's go. And if you wanted to, you could make it complex enough for it to auto redeploy the train, but it doesn't really seem worthwhile. You need a blueprint, here you go. Now, Still nothing. Well, they will be underway. What's the count here? Nothing. Good. There are no actual bots here because this network hasn't actually connected up to this, but when this places the first one, it should go directly here. And then the next one will go here. So the first one will actually be using resources from here. And then within a couple it will be close enough so that it will be one continuous network. So that should work fine. I don't think this is going to unload, so instead of just going to solar, I want you to go to solar 2, not hashtag solar 2, but just solar unload, solar 2 unload until inventory empty. No, 10 seconds of activity. Alright. Yes, that probably makes more sense. Let's just move that to there. So while it's still finishing off this last piece, there you go. It started laying it down. It can still drop resources there. Very, very cool. That's it. 158,000 panels. And our first stack of 20. Not bad. That's maximum zoom. Our factory is still pretty small by the standards we set in my last playthrough, but we're still doing 60 UPS too. Right. So, is that... no, that's not the solar train. Where is the solar train? The solar train is down the end here. So, at the moment, we have... well, this one is the number of active construction bots as a percentage of, well, as a total versus the total number of construction bots, and since both are 0, we've got 1 for that. Each of these others, though, needs to have the required number. It looks like actually we've got... oh, we have actually started. We've started the count. This should result in a deploying of... it has, but it didn't deploy. I thought it would deploy here. I guess we have missed out 0. Alright, that's okay. What we'll do is I will actually grab the blueprint and manually deploy once. Did it get all the way up here? Yes, it did. So I may need to tell it to start at like -1 or something for this to work the way I want it to, or something else. I am thinking... yes, so it would look like there is 1 bot assigned to clearing that. When that's cleared, hopefully it will start building this side. They're certainly deploying now. quite a long way to deploy from that side though, so it still might be a little bit slow until the network makes it all the way across to here. The other thing that we should do, let's just make sure it hasn't started another row. Good. The other thing that we should do is actually eliminate that first stop. There's no point going to that one anymore at all. Let's get rid of it. This time we're actually loading up a decent amount, so it could take a while before it's ready to come back. And it could take a little while before these panels get placed, because it is still, it's coming from here. It's still quite a long trip for bots, normal speed bots, to move along, but that is that process. Alright, we can check in on that later. What I want to do now, well, aside from check the power grid, 5.2 gigawatts should be fine. What I want to do, we're at that point where it's decision time in terms of how we expand out next. So, how big's that? 1.2. How big's that? That's actually only the same as that, but it's obviously going to accommodate this sort of pattern a little bit more easily, perhaps. I probably pretty much just want a copy of this, since that will put two into the same thing, and put it here. I'm not 100% sure how much copper I actually need. I'm pretty sure it's in the order of, we're talking about low density structures, so it's half the amount of steel that we need. But a couple of things. The steel is a combined steel and iron, so that's like a 2 times multiplier already in terms of productivity, and then the steel takes 5 times as much iron, so that's kind of 10. So if we need 22 of these steel segments, we probably need 2 sets of them, and by 22 I mean the double stack. So we probably need like 2, maybe 2.2. Not quite sure what the 0.2 is going to mean, but I think I would like to get this copper deployed. Could probably, we might be able to put them there, or have them come all the way over here and be a couple of stacks of copper just there. Notwithstanding the fact that I'm going to want to use these and this and this. So that could be sort of 4, 8. Be struggling to get more than 1 there. 10. Might get 3 through this one. In which case that'd be 16. And then if I can get 2 lots off each of those, that would be all of the iron that we need to turn into steel. So in that case, have you started deploying? Oh no, yes, yes. Here we go. Starting to get a bit of action. Let's go back to B-iron 1, where our plane is. And then we can basically copy that segment, slap it down here somehow as the start to our copper for LDS. That was a very good move, Mr. Train. Probably some blueprints in here that I can get rid of, like that one for example. Oh, it's going to be blank. I should just go. Never mind. That's what happens when you don't play the game for a short while. You forget exactly how to control things the way that you really want to. Right. Let's grab one of these blueprints. So basically I need that sort of thing. I guess we'll take the jet with us. It's probably slower than we are, but never mind. So, a little bit of Invini zoom action. And yeah, this one fits on here very, very easily. Something like that then. We may as well race back to main base and get all the material for that. I have quite a lot of it directly on me, but not all. Actually, there might be. Yeah, we probably have enough in the way of boxes. How many diggers? 349. That's probably the biggest one that we really need. Let's have a sip of my drink. Just up here. Right, let's see. We need 349. Let's call it 400. miners. I think I have enough of the boxes. Let's go for 300 smart inserters. Let's just bump that up to 100. 67. Make that one 70 then. Oops. Auto trash. Get rid of you. Oh, and rail, of course. We need 500 rail. And look at this. So I think we now have a connection here. We do. So it's starting to expand pretty quickly. It's also creating quite a lot of wood fairly quickly. But that should be fine. How many have we got now? 159,000. Very good. I will guess that we have all the stuff that we need. So let's go and deploy this. This may well be the last thing that I actually do in this episode. But it certainly is good progress. We are not too far off being able to actually set up some low density structure production. And I can't wait for that, because that will mean faster jet. Because this guy really is a little bit slow. You haven't had to put up with him as much as I have. It is handy that he can carry so much stuff, but I'd probably rather just have the speed, to be honest. The other jet is a lot faster. Right, here we are. Let's swap over to the bot version. We can do a bit of a flyover. We have the usual fun job of connecting up power, but that should be pretty easy. There's power just above us in module land, so I guess we'll just grab a bit of that. Is that it? Pretty much. Alright. One last look at solar. it looks like 2 new segments have already been completed. How is this going? Is it working? The count is at 1. It should be counting up. For some reason it's not, or is it? It's just deployed another one, so there you go. That'd mean the count's now 2. Yes, it is. Good. Good, good. Don't know what it's going to find as it pushes over this way. Probably more of this kind of stuff. Never mind. We need the energy, and we need it quite badly. 159 should be very close to 160,000 panels. So yeah, that's it, guys. Next episode we'll work out where exactly we're going to put the copper. Whether it goes here, I'm not quite sure. Maybe there's room for, well, it's basically just 2 copper, and then maybe we could get 4 like this next to it. These could possibly just come out this way, maybe. Like, well, there'd only be 2. There'd only be like a double from that, 2 or 3 from that. We could use that one. Alright, guys, thanks for joining me. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.